Okay, so here's a bigger view of my table. I got a sidewall here, I got a sidewall there, and I got a roof up here. I keep my Dremels out of my table, so you see there's a little wall here. I got my burs here. I'll talk about my tools and my burs in another video. So this is what we want to talk about right now, is this table. So I already have 2 videos in my playlist, how to make these, how I made this table, but I'm going to make a freshly updated one for the new subscribers to the channel and people, because I've been getting lots of emails. So this is aluminum plate. You do not have to have an aluminum plate, okay? This is just a piece of plywood. I painted it. So when I carve, I do wood carvings like this, wood spirit in there, eagle heads, whatever, gnome homes, fairy houses, flying pigs, right? So when I carve, I want to try and get all the dust to go down here. It's hooked up to a dust collector, okay? So let me start off by showing you the dust collector that I use. Okay, never mind, I'm going to start right here. So power carving with Dremels and Fordhams creates lots of dust. It's not like whittling, right? You get fine, fine dust, as many of you know, right? And you're wondering how to contain that dust, okay? So when I carve, most of you guys see the dust goes down here. What doesn't go down there? It just goes along here and I sweep it up. So it goes down here. It goes into this tube and it goes, this is called a cyclone filter, okay? This is a bigger one. This is a 4-inch tubed one. You can get them that are 2 inches. This one's expensive. It's like, let's say $300, $350 or something like that. But so this tube goes to my table, okay? The other tube goes to my dust collector, which I got in the closet, right? So when the dust comes in here, sorry guys, I get confused trying to explain this. When the dust comes in here, it goes through this tube and it's got a cyclone in here and it will sit in here before it makes it to there, okay? What you gotta have this if you're running a dust collector system. Well, you don't have to, maybe you might not be able to afford it, but Home Depot sells cheaper lid ones where you can just put on top of a garbage can, right? So they're like $40. You just get a garbage can or a white bucket and you put the thing on top there and it's good to go. And it collects all the dust. Because why you want the dust to collect into here before it gets to your dust collector system itself is you're going to save, you're not going to plug up your filter as much, right? When you put, some of you are power carving, you already have your table set up, but you realize it's not sucking that much anymore. Well, it's because your filter's plugged up with sawdust. And the air can't get out. So if air can't get out, it can't suck air in, right? Does that make sense to you? So these cyclone filters really save you a lot of work from having to clean out your filter all the time, if that makes sense. Okay? So I really suggest you get one of these. You can get the smaller ones. They're called cyclone filters. All this stuff is in my playlist, my Amazon store. I'm not suggesting you buy it from my Amazon store. I'm not getting rich from it. It's just to show you guys that these are the stuff that I use, or that I would use if I don't have it, or I did use, okay? You get the ones with the white buckets with the lids, and they're like $100. But if you, like I said, if you can't afford it, Home Depot sells those cheap ones. Or you can even message me and I'll tell you which cheap one to get. But this is very huge and will save you tons of time. So this brown bucket here, I just unclamp it. Actually, you know what? Actually, I'm going to show you guys. Okay. So look at all the sawdust in there. So you just dump this out, and it saves your filter. Okay. So this is a 1 amp dust collector system, okay? If I didn't have this cyclone filter, all the dust would sit in this bag. It would go in this bag and I'd have to empty these bags. I haven't emptied this bag since I've had this cyclone filter, okay? Look, it's empty. There's a little bit in the bottom, but not much. It's been like this for 3 years. This is the filter that I have. This is a Magnum. Okay, this filter has a handle on the top, so you can just, it's going to be loud for a second here, but when I'm turning this, it's clicking all these, there's a plastic thing in here, it's clicking all these things and knocking the dust out, right? So watch. And that's releasing the dust out of the inside here, and it's pushing it down into the bag because the air blows out here, right? Like I said, this is a 1 amp. Okay, so let's turn it on for a second. There. Okay. So you're carving here. The dust goes through these holes. The cyclone filter traps the dust, and then the air comes out through here. Does that make sense? Lots of people use shop vacs because they can't afford one of these, but I'm going to sit down and we're going to talk about things. So if I didn't have my YouTube channel, this table would be nowhere near as big. Like if I would have a wall here, right about here, and I have a wall right about here. I'd say, let me get a tape measure. I'd have it 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet. That's what I'd do. So 2.5 feet this way, 2.5 feet this way. I just recently added the roof onto this because when I was carving, I realized dust was getting up and behind the dust collector, and I'd have to go against the back underneath my table. Yes, I have carpet and I'm getting rid of it. I'd have to go under here with my shop vac and clean all back there because it would be coming up behind the thing and trapping back there. So this roof contains the dust too. It all contains the dust, but like I said, it's only so big because of my YouTube channel. So another thing too, this grit I got here, what is this? This is like 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. It was originally 2 feet by 1.5 feet this way. Okay, so 2 feet this way, 1.5 feet this way, but it was too big. The area of the holes was too big and it was creating less power, less pressure of sucking, right? You think that thing's that, my dust collector, I forget what RPMs or whatever it runs at. It's sucking air. The more space, more holes you have, the less pressure you're going to get. Okay? So I tape. This is all tape right here. There's holes underneath here. It's all tape. So this is my area now. This is basically 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. But I'd even like it smaller. Okay? So I would suggest like maybe 1 foot by 1 foot would be a good area. 1 foot by 1 foot square if you're using a shop vac or even a dust collector, okay? Does that make sense to you? Nice square with holes in it. These holes are good size. I'd say they're about 1/2 inch. But the smaller, once again, guys, I know I repeat myself and I apologize. The smaller that you make your holes, the more suction you're going to get to suck that dust down. Does that make sense? Here was my air. I taped it up to get more pressure here. I might even put some more tape over here because I don't carve over here. I'm always carving right here where the mess is. Okay? So you see I built a little box under here. Okay? It's like 2x4s. And then there's a piece of plywood. Then I got this plastic filter. I got those listed below. I got that at a store in Canada called KMS Tools. But it's like a plastic filter. And that's a 4-inch tube. I got it hooked up. All my system, dust collector system runs at 4-inch. But let me pop this off and show you guys, okay? Okay, you see these red lines here? That's how big I should have it. I'll get way more pressure if I lose these holes. So let's pop this plate up. Like I said, it's aluminum. You guys, you can get those boards. You can already buy the boards. I forget the name of it for the life of me. But they already have the holes punched into it. The board might come to me. So let's pull this tray up here. Okay, so there's how it works. So when I'm carving, everything goes down here, whoosh, gets sucked, and it sits in here, and that's what I empty. That's it. I empty this once every 2 weeks or something. Okay, so let's turn it on, and I'm just going to show you guys how it sucks the dust. So you can hear the dust collector running now. Now let's put some dust in here. See how it all gets sucked down there? Now it all sits into the cyclone filter. That's where it's going, yep. Okay. Okay guys, one more thing you can do if you don't have that much money. You can find a cheap shop vac online for secondhand. Pretend this is a sold piece of plywood. You can get one of these things. This is a 2-inch tube from you can get it at a hardware store. Pretend it doesn't have the bristles on it, but this is what Just Carve Rob does. Pretend this screwdriver is a piece of wood. He's carving it, and it just gets sucked right in here into his cyclone filter and out through his shop vac, right? And you can also build boxes around your shop vacs to make them a lot quieter too. Okay, some of you guys might have seen me use this when I'm cleaning up my table. This is a central vacuum. It's cheap. You guys look on Facebook Marketplace or your buy and sell, just type in central vacuum. You can get these for $50 to $100 secondhand. And I think this is more powerful than a shop vac, actually. So, but make sure that you're able to remove the bottom. See, this whole bottom comes off and the dust sits in here, and I just dump it into a garbage bag, okay? So I'll show you a couple pictures I just Googled a couple pictures on buy and sell Marketplace. So yeah, central vacuum. If you even can't afford a friggin' shop vac. One more thing I do want to cover. I do take this to where I do my chainsaw carving on the farm, and I blow it out every 2 months because this even does get plugged up, even though it's got this thing to release the dust. So, but these are way better than the bags. Look, Larry, I found you another bag. So if you can afford one of these to modify it, get one of these filters for sure. You know, it's almost cheaper to buy the whole system if you can afford it, and it will come with that, instead of just having to buy one of these, because these filters aren't cheap. Anyways, I hope it helps. Here's your other bag I found you, Larry. Okay, any of you guys that don't know what the central vacuum is, it's like the vacuum that sits in the garage, and you just get the tube for the vacuum thing itself for the power head, and you plug it into the wall. And you guys, look on your Marketplace on Facebook for central vacuum, and on Craigslist. I love mine. I think it's great. Hope this video helps you guys. Okay, see you later. Happy Sunday.